Greetings, welcome to the weekend. This is Stan Houston for Interesting Ideas. I hope that you will find them just that. I like to try and find interesting ideas, and that will usually lead me to interesting people, and then I will do a very unnatural act. I will actually seek out and learn more, because most people just never do that. So if I have some interesting people and some interesting ideas, what will happen to me is I will become a better person because I will learn more. Perhaps I will care more. I will be just that, an interesting person because I'm interested in other people. I hope the subject may have caught you on this little brief episode as we put it together, so it'll go through the weekend. Hey, what are you going to do on Monday? Do you know? What are you going to do on Monday? Now, as I say, the answer might surprise you. Now, the answer might surprise you because we're going to do it just a little bit different. And that's hopefully what will make it interesting. Hey, the program begins right now. Now, of course, I'm doing this on a Friday in my nice little studio located here in Cary, North Carolina. And I'm very grateful and thankful to my wife who helped put together this new abode. She has said for years, I want to get you out of the bedroom. I want you to have your own studio that looks nice and professional and where you can kind of display your talent a little bit better. And so when we made the move from Arizona to Carolina, that was one of the agenda items. And thanks to my good colleague Sherry Monahan, who's kind of been a resident of this wonderful part of the world for 30 years, and who is joining me because she is a well-known Western writer, a very talented woman, and she's going to join me in the partnership as we try and help you find your audience, reach your audience, because we want to get you on the radio, we want to get you on the video, we want to help you become more and more successful in the work that you have been called to do, that God wants you to do, that you think is part of your passionate purpose. We want to help you reach an audience and make a difference. We can do that. We know how to do it, and we think we can help you do it. Just yesterday, when somebody was delivering something to the studio, he said to me, he said, you do podcasts? And I said, yeah, we do. He said, oh, what kind of podcast do you do? And I told him some of the things we did. And he said, well, boy, that sounds incredible. And I said to him, and here he was a tall, nice African-American guy. He was the FedEx guy. And I looked at him and said, you could do a podcast. And he looked at me and said, what? Not me. I said, you know what? I know you could. Here's how I know you could. First of all, you're curious. You even asked me about it. You got a little bit of curiosity and a little bit of courage. And I've heard your voice already. You stand up tall. You speak well. You got a smile. I could help you be on the radio. What would I say? And I said, hey, man, I bet in this entire business that you're in that you have lots of stories about lots of people. And he smiled and said, oh, I could tell you a lot of stories about people. And I said, and for each of those stories, there's probably a life lesson. And all of a sudden, he went quiet. And then he said, I have to talk to my wife. You've made me kind of queasy. I said, what do you mean? He said, no. I've never had this thought about possibility like that. And then he said, I said, here's my card. Be glad to help you. Come in. You delivered the bookcase for the studio. You know how to get here. And by the way, I'd be more than happy to set you down and teach you how to handle that golden microphone there. You can just see if you might have some fun and enjoyment in it. I could tell that I made his day, and I think he'll probably come back. but he was introduced to a possibility. Now I want to introduce that possibility to all of you. God has given you, whether you believe in him or not, has given you a story, and he's given you creativity, and he has something that is deep inside of you. The old line, don't let life pass you by. Just talked about that a couple days ago. Don't let your music die inside of you. You have a message, you have a story, and perhaps there are people, and I guarantee you, there are people in your audience who would perhaps like to hear your story and could benefit from your story. Well, we'll see what happens. As I told my friend recently, who was complaining that he didn't think that the podcast he did for somebody else worked because nothing happened that he knew of, and I simply said to him, let me tell you a secret. That podcast helped somebody. And due to the technology of the world today, that little 30-minute talk you gave, which you know was good and helpful and thoughtful because you really worked hard at it, whether you got any response or not, that's going to be around for years. Somewhere, everywhere, on demand. It's on the internet. It's in the digital universe. And who knows, years after you're gone, somebody could hear that and their life could be changed. He said, I never thought of it that way. He said, I'm so used to thinking that I have to see the result right now. And then he smiled and he said, Stan, and I know better than that. I know better than that. I'm sorry. Why did I even think that? He said, I'll give it a second thought, Stan. Maybe I will do a podcast. I need to think about what you just told me. And I said, every podcast you do, you'll be a better person. Now, you just let that sit on your head for a while this weekend. And that brings me to the subject and why I'm a little bit different and a little bit nuanced, because I'm a motivational type, you know. That's why you're kind of tired of people like me sometimes. That I'm going to say, as I've said many times, Friday is Future Day, is you take time to think about your future, you do some thinking and praying and planning, you try and have all the mess in the shop kind of cleaned up by past as I call Turbulent Thursday, and by Friday you have a little more time to be thoughtful. And I oftentimes teach businessmen and women, they want to have something where Monday is anticipated, not dreaded, and Friday is a day to do a little bit of thoughtful celebration. Make sure people know a little bit about, did they accomplish the goals for the week? Did you? What did you get done? What is different than what was the case on Monday? What's different? What did you accomplish? What are your thoughts for next week? What do you think is before you? Did you get everything done? Did you clean up your mess? How does your office look? Or does it look like a mess? No, don't leave it that way. If somebody very important came, like you, or your family, or some significant person, I want you to say, my goodness, this is really nice. They keep it so nice and neat. Wow. What a neat office this is. This must be an interesting, neat person in this office. You did all that. You got it cleaned up. And so I'm supposed to say, well, of course, on Monday, you should know what you want to do. And you know what? I kind of still do that. But let me tell you the rest of the story. Do all those things. Think about all those things. But then think about the rest of the story. Paul Harvey, my hero, always would say that. And so take a break, and I'll give you the rest of the story. Here's the rest of the story. Who knows what's going to be happening in the next few days? One of the deep, deep tragedies. I mean, it just struck me. As we watch this war, this terrible war, how it is hurting people. Hey, these were people like you and me, doing life, doing business. And now, great, terrible tragedy. And there was that one picture where they are just taking bodies in bags and throwing them in a ditch, a mass grave. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they are. They just picking them up. And I thought, these are people who have hopes, dreams, and now, in 3 days, 4 days, a day or two, they're dead. And nobody even knows they're dead, perhaps. And now, without a ceremony, a memorial, or a remembrance, their bodies are thrown into a ditch and covered up as if they were some dead animal somewhere. Breaks my heart. It makes me so grateful for what I have. But that's happening to people. And it will continue. So, what are we going to do about it besides pray? I don't know. I don't know. But here's what I do now know, and I've known it quite often, that if you do the weekend right, and that's, you say, what is it right, Stan? Well, first of all, you obviously have to finish up a little bit of the work. You know, Saturday morning, you have errands to run and things that perhaps can get done, that you need to get done. I do that. That's, even though I'm well planned, I do know that Saturday I have to work. But about noon, I try and say, now it's time for some rest and reflection, relaxation. I should stop doing work now. And I should just kind of be me and maybe be alone and take a walk and do a thought and have a nice nap or something like that. I should just reflect on my life and read and think and you know what? Something might come to me. In fact, oftentimes it does. And then on Sunday, I look forward to Sunday because that's when I do what I'm made to do. I was made to worship God. So were you. And you know what? If you do that, you'll be better off. I mean that. You'll be better off because that's what you were made for. You may not believe that. Most people don't. But I know it's true. You were made to worship. That's what you were made for. So if you want a better day, you'll take time to do just that. And you'll be transported into a better place. Because, in effect, the Spirit of God may allow you to have a kind of a thin wall between you and the eternal transcendence of what some people call heaven. You might even have a glimpse or a thought or an experience about something far above and beyond and part of the deep mystery of the universe and the deep presence of God. You might actually have that happen to you. It's happened to me a lot. And it's not because I'm better at it, it's just that I'm more aware of it and looking for it and asking for it. And by that time, it could be that what I'm going to do on Monday and what I had planned to do will change. And so when I come to Sunday night, I have a much better experience of, hey, what am I going to do on Monday? And oftentimes I will have something related to what I planned, but oftentimes what has happened to me in the experience of that God-ordained super rest and that time of reflection and relaxation and not being at work and not checking my cell phone and not checking my computer, all of that, something oftentimes comes to me that may not change me, but it may change what I'm going to do on Monday. So, that's a little bit of nuance into my motivational talk about what are you going to do and what are your goals for Monday. I hope this will be helpful to you. Give it some thought. Again, I believe I have some wisdom that can help you in your life and your business. I know I can. I know I can because I know if I can't, I know someone who can. That's what I've been blessed with. So you can reach out to me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. And of course, I would love, as I want the FedEx driver to come back, I would love to get you and your wisdom and your storytelling and the great and good things that you have to share with others. I'd love to get you on the radio. Check it out, witradio.net, witradio.net. It's What It Takes Radio. We are going to do, because we know what it takes to get you the ability to do just exactly what I'm doing, loving life and being on the radio. Best and blessings to you. Have a good weekend. Bye for now.